welcome to the Borealis Experience. I'm your host Aurora, and I'm very happy to be spending some time with you today. This podcast is your mental health podcast. Maybe mental health is something that you've been avoiding in the past, something that, doesn't really ignite good feelings. But trust me, a healthy mind is so sexy. A healthy body is so attractive. And a person who's just confident with who they are. So chances are, if you're figuring out your life, you want to change things, you landed on my website here or onto my podcast. So I welcome you warmly. This is a beautiful path you're on, and I'm very happy to be part of it. You can always reach out to me on Facebook. My name is Aurora Eggert. Or on Instagram, I'm active too under the Borealis Experience as podcast category. All right, let's dive into today's topic, inspired by Richard. He requested this episode. He wants me to talk about acceptance. And I'm assuming, Richard, that it is self-acceptance that you're talking about. So I will talk about this, but I will also talk about general acceptance on how we can become more acceptant of situations, circumstances, and other people. I feel it all begins with you. The better you feel about yourself, the better person you're going to be to other people out there. And the more positive of an outlook you have on the future. A person who looks into the mirror in the morning and is very conflicted, doesn't like to look at herself or himself. Those people have a really hard time to be self-accepting and also accepting of others. The more critical you are with yourself, the more harsh your inner chatting is, the harsher and the more radical you will be with the outside world too. That's just a given. The happier you are with yourself and content, the more relaxed you are, and the more relaxed and content is your environment as well. Because everything is energy. You attract what you put out there into the world. And when we feel very insecure about ourselves, when we feel like we can't forgive what we've done in the past, then I understand it is a very, very position to be in. And then you can exercise, you can put makeup on, you can put on a happy face, but internally you still feel like not enough, not belonging, not okay. You feel troubled inside because, you're out and about and you're trying to do good things, but you still feel guilty or shame for things that you've done in the past. And it doesn't really matter that I don't know a person, or you, for instance, Richard, but I know, especially if you listen to this podcast here, if you listen to my videos, and not because they're so awesome, but because of the content, that you are willing to let go, that you are willing to move on and to forgive and to be okay with what was, and to look into the future with more hope and contentment. So I want to invite you to go into bird's perspective now. Hover above yourself. And when you close your eyes, sometimes that's easier, but If you're driving, of course not. Or operating any machinery, of course not. But look down onto you. And what do you see? Do you see pain? Do you see regret? Do you see anger? Resentment? Is it sadness? Suppressed feelings? Or maybe even depression that you see? And now imagine me looking down onto you. And I know nothing about you, but I can see you. And I see a person who is ready to move on and who's ready to forgive, or who's ready to accept and just be content with what you have. Now again, if you're operating machinery or walking, driving, don't close your eyes. But I want to invite you now to listen to your thoughts. Are you really still angry at yourself about something that you've done in the past? Do you feel like intense shame? Then we have to start and air this. And what I mean by that is that you have to find somebody that you can talk about this with. And sometimes it's okay to sit with it and to be with those feelings. But if they are too intense, then seek help. I'm not a medical advisor. I'm not a mental health counselor. I'm just a normal person, a very, very regular girl who has gone through stuff and who learned to let go and forgive herself. And all I can do here is to invite you and do the same. You have to trust that the person who has done something in the past that you're not proud of, that you're scared of maybe even today, didn't know better. You had your reasons. And maybe you had to go to jail and you had to sit down and make some time. Do some time, sorry. But now you're out and about again. And this means that the government trusts you. And this means that the people around you can trust you too. And it's unfortunate how many people are in jail for really nothing and sometimes even unjustified. But I'm talking about the people now who got out again and are given a second chance. And you have to fucking give it your all. You're given a second chance. And you have to forgive yourself first. You can't expect that from society, from your family, from your friends. You have to forgive yourself first and to go out there and be confident with who you are. So now when you sit in meditation here with me, when you do these little meditations and reflection, when you listen to the interviews, observe your thoughts, and when it is about you, when you make it about yourself, see how self-destructive your thoughts are so against you. You wouldn't even talk to your best friend like you do to yourself. And this is where we have to hack into. We have to start changing the conversation that we have with ourselves. That is the first step of forgiveness. When you make a little mistake, forgive yourself. When you make a big mistake, see it as a lesson, learn from it, and then forgive yourself. You know, the thing is, the longer it takes you, or the longer you stay in that position of being a victim, of not being good enough, the longer we are missing you as a society out there, because you have so much to offer, you have so much potential, and in drowning in your shame and your regret and your sadness and your anger and your resentment, you're depriving us to see you, the person that you could be out there. So sit with your thoughts, look at the conversation that you have with yourself, and start there. Start being okay with who you are. Start trusting yourself again. And know that every day you wake up, every hour even, you can become a better person. You can, like the compass. If you imagine a compass, you can imagine that needle and put every little bit of energy that you have into a direction that you want to see yourself walking. And tonight when you go to bed, I want you to picture the you that you want to see in a year, in 5 years, maybe in 10 years. Maybe you want to give up an addiction. Maybe you want to give up on those nasty, self-destructive thoughts that you have all day long. Maybe you want to start forgiving yourself and take better care of yourself, because nobody is going to do it. People are only going to treat you the way they feel about you, and also the way you feel about yourself. If you feel you're not worthy of a beautiful, happy relationship, you will not get it. You might have it for a certain time, but then it will vanish. So you paint that picture, you paint that frame that you want to see yourself in. And every day, every hour of the day even, you take baby steps towards that person. Every time you have a choice, you think about, what would my best version decide in this case? And it is not somebody out there that you're trying to copy and paste their behavior from. It is you, your version of yourself. What are you capable of? You're capable of so much. You're capable of being forgiving with others, relaxed with yourself, content, even successful. But you have to start listening to your ongoing chatter in your mind. What is it that you're still insecure about? What is it that you're scared of showing to people? There's people out there who've done terrible stuff in their life, and they went through pain, they went through the consequences that were needed, they learned, and then they forgave themselves. And when you think about people like Louis C.K., for instance, Louis C.K., a comedian who has gone a little bit too far when it came to his sexual fantasies. Look him up. Maybe there's nothing left on the internet about that, but he was in deep trouble with some sexual assault stuff. And it went so far that he had to leave the country because the pressure, the aggression against him was so bad. And you know what? I really admire this guy today because he came back. He had a show not long ago and talked about it openly, talked about the mistake that he has made, and said, and you can see it in how he acts, that he learned from it. He had to go through so much pain and knows now that he was in the wrong and he's going to do differently now. But he was able to step out there again and be in front of an audience. And I don't know, maybe there's women listening to this and they think, Aurora, this is full bullshit. He's supposed to be locked up and is a bad person. But I think he learned from his lesson. He's going to be a different person nowadays. And he expressed his regret. And he's out there again. And he deserves a second chance. So this is just one little example of a person who has done the work, who is back out there now. And yeah, he will encounter people that are going to try and make him feel shitty. And they're going to shame him and blame him for what he's done in the past. But he cannot let this affect his life. He has to know himself that he has become a better person, and then you will become invincible to those kind of attacks. If you know you're giving your best every single day and you're stepping towards the person you want to become, then you are invincible to people who are trying to bring you down. It is going to be challenging at times, but when you have that anchor inside of you again, and you know who you are, what you want to do in life, and how you want to support people, be out there and shine, then nothing will be able to shake you anymore as it used to. So I hope this all made sense to you. I hope you understand that the work has to start as soon as possible, because you're wasting so much time in not living a life of full acceptance, where you know that you deserve goodness, you deserve unconditional love, you deserve all the food you need, the water, the shelter, and goodness that life has to offer. I lost my train of thought, but I know that you got me. You have to forgive yourself, okay? I will be out there very soon again. I'm posting my episodes now on Wednesdays, Fridays, and Sundays, and will be putting out live videos for you on Facebook. So please join me there. And if you haven't already, leave me a review on Apple Podcast, the strongest currency for us podcasters out there. And I leave you now with hope and encouragement to love yourself a lot more than you're doing already. Take good care of yourself. Thanks for listening to the Borealis Experience. Aurora.